recipe for fake veggie sausages, and it's our favourite way of making sausages because it uses fresh vegetables. We've got onion, and I've just peeled and chopped it very finely, and we've got 100 grams there. And then we've got some mushrooms which I've just finely washed and finely chopped, and we've got 75 grams there. And then carrots, 75 grams, which I've just washed and grated on a coarse grater. And now they need to be cooked. Now I've got a pan onto heat, and I'm just going to add about 2 tablespoons of oil and a little bit of butter, which will just add a little flavour. Now as soon as that's melted, I'm going to add my vegetables. In goes the onion, the carrot, and the chopped mushrooms. And I'm just going to stir those round, get them mixed up, and then I'm going to cook them for about 4 or 5 minutes, just until they start to brown. But you don't want them too soft. And I'm also going to keep the heat up. That's because I want any moisture that's going to come out of the vegetables, I want all that to evaporate. I don't want a soggy mixture. So I'll leave that for about 4 to 5 minutes, and I've got to stir it occasionally. So I think that's more or less done. Vegetables are cooked but not too soft, and the other ingredient to go in here is soy sauce, and you need just 2 tablespoons of soy sauce. I'm using dark, but you can use light if you prefer. And 2 tablespoons is just enough to give it a lovely flavour. Just stir it around and leave it on the heat just enough to evaporate that soy sauce. That's it, I can't see any soy at the bottom of the pan. That's all been evaporated, so what I'm going to do now is just turn off the heat and transfer the mixture to a bowl to cool. Now you're going to prepare the rest of the ingredients. Put a bowl onto your scales, make sure it's at 0, and add 220 grams of fate all-purpose mix. That goes in there. And then you want to season it with half a teaspoonful of salt. Don't overdo the salt because the soy in the vegetable mixture is quite salty. But you can use as much pepper as you like. We like to be quite generous with black pepper, just ground black pepper. And then I'm just going to add some herbs. I've got sage, dried sage, and I'm going to use a teaspoonful of that. And a teaspoonful of dried oregano as well. And that'll give it a lovely flavour. And that just gets stirred around. Next, you want to measure some oil, and you need 50 ml, so use a baby's bottle again. 50 ml of oil. And then you want 50 ml of suitable tomato ketchup. So to measure that, I'm just going to put it on the top of the bottle, squeeze it up until it comes up to 100. That means I've got 50 oil and 50 ketchup. That's it. And then you want 80 water, so I'm going to pour in the water until it comes up to 180. And then use a fork just to give it a quick stir. Then back to the bowl, add your cooled vegetables. It doesn't matter if they're not completely cold. You don't want to add hot ingredients to this dry mixture really. And don't waste them. Clean the spoon. And then just get your liquid ingredients, throw those in, and then use a metal spoon and just stir to blend everything well together. Just take about 30 seconds or so, that's all. Just make sure it's quite smooth and everything is blended in. I think that's just about done. Lovely, as you can see, it's nice and smooth and there are no dry ingredients in the bowl. All blended well together, and that's now ready for shaping. Now to shape this mixture, it's really easy. You just sprinkle a little bit of extra all-purpose mix on your work surface and take a spoonful of the mixture, about a tablespoon. You could weigh it if you wanted to. If you wanted to actually get them all nice and even, you could weigh them, and each piece I would have thought it'd probably be around 50 grams. Just get the sausage mixture, roll it into a ball, get a little bit of all-purpose mix on your hands, not too much on your work surface, so I'm going to move that over now, and then just basically treat it like a piece of plasticine really. Just roll it nice and evenly. And then take a baking tray or a plate and put it on there just to stand while you shape all the rest of the mixture. A little bit of all-purpose, as long as you've got some all-purpose mix on your hands and on the work surface. You don't need too much, as long as you've got a little bit, it shouldn't stick. And you shape these, shape all the mixture, and then any that you don't use that day you can put in the freezer. And I've put them onto a baking tray because you can just freeze them on the baking tray, and then when they're frozen just transfer them to a freezer container or even a freezer bag. Be fine, and they'll all be separate enough to just defrost one or two when you want them. And this will be the last one, I think, to shape. Yeah, and I'll put that one on the tray as well. So that's 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9 sausages that I've made out of that mixture. Of course, I've made all sausages, but of course you could make little veggie meatballs, or you could form it into burger shapes, just as nice. And now I'm going to show you how to cook them. Now the sausages can be cooked under the grill or on a barbecue. Just brush them with a little bit of oil first, or how we like them best is to shallow fry them. So I've got a pan on the heat. I'm just going to add a little bit of oil and wait until that's hot. And then I'm going to cook what we're going to need, and I'll cook maybe 3. But don't put them into a cold pan, you must have that oil quite hot. That's it, it's sizzling. But don't be too eager to turn them over. You're best to leave them for 45 seconds to a minute or something before turning them over. all in all they'll probably take about 2 to 2.5 minutes. And they've been cooking now been on for a minute, so I'm just going to turn them over. They're nicely brown now on the one side. I'm just going to turn the heat down now and leave them to cook for another 30 seconds, and then I'll turn them on their sides so they're nicely cooked through and golden brown all over. I'm just going to turn those on their sides now so they cook on their sides. They're looking good. It won't be long now. Just another few seconds on the other side, and then they're ready to dish and eat. I'll turn the gas off, just transfer them to a little plate. There they are. Now, the best way to serve these sausages is of course hot dogs. So I've got a fake finger roll here and I've cut it down the middle. I'm just going to put a sausage in and then serve it. If you want to, it's lovely served with a few fried onions. And then you've got to have a suitable ketchup, and there you go, a bit of salad on the side, perfect. And anyway, who can resist bangers and mash? We've got a root mash here, which is basically just root vegetables, all freely allowed, just lightly steamed and then mashed with it, and I've just added a little bit of fried onion just to give it a bit of extra taste. It's really delicious. And then your bangers go on the top, and then all you need is a bit of green veg. I've got some French beans here, all freely allowed. And then, if you like, just top it up with a little bit of fake gravy. There you go, fake sausages.